Welcome to the podcast, Vernon Barnard,
Thanks,
a
man.
singer-songwriter from South Africa. How are you doing?
Doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you said you've been having a busy day today.
Yeah, well, busy-ish. Been struggling with technology as it sometimes go. But yeah, it's good, man. I'm happy. I've got new music out today, so can't complain about that. And excited for everyone to give me some feedback and tell me what they think about changing my mind.
Yeah. So let's talk about that first, and then we'll kind of go rewind a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, so you have a new single out today called "Changing My Mind." It's out on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer Library, probably anywhere that you can find music, right?
Everywhere. Apparently 150 stores. So I've not counted, but the uploader says it's 150 stores. So it should cover just about everywhere, I guess.
Yeah. So tell me about this song. What inspired it? What writing process was like? All that stuff.
Yeah, man. Okay, so first of all, about 4 years ago, I embarked on a crazy journey as a blind person, and I never used that as a crutch or talk about that as a subject in itself. But I didn't know if it was possible for a blind person to produce music on a computer and so on. And did some research and found out that there's actually like a huge community of blind folks right over the world producing music, and that was such a inspiring thing for me. And I always wanted to create music, so got into that about 4 years ago. It was good timing because that was obviously when the world stood still for a bit there. And I got onto my computer, started just exploring a bit. Slowly but surely got a bit better. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I produce my own music. So a little while ago, I fiddled around with a specific sound. I like to start with instrumental sounds, and then when I have something together, I write lyrics over that. So I know most people do it the other way around, but that's just the way I go through my process. So I had a nice lead sound, and I figured out a melody for that, like a hook, and then built all the instrumentation around that. So yeah, got that down. Took quite a few hours to get a basic track down, and spent some time on perfecting that sound that I wanted, and then actually left it for a bit, not knowing what I want to write about. And I thought to myself, I'm always writing about some love song, a girl or something that's just it's a popular subject. It's a good subject. I mean, it's the tried and tested method, and it's what most of my songs are about. But I just thought to myself, I want to do something else. And as a person of faith, a Christian, I wanted to do something that just spoke about my faith journey as well. And so I actually prayed about it, not knowing how I would do something like that. But I wanted to share something that could be impactful in people's lives and just share the gospel of Christ, at least in the limited time that I had on a 3-4 minute track, So yeah, that got me to sitting down, writing lyrics, taking it to another producer that just helped me to polish up the last bits of the song. And now it's out today. So it's we'll get to that as well, but it's something completely left field, I guess, for me, just out of the ordinary. It's not something that I've ever done before, and I might get some interesting feedback, but I'm excited because as long as I know in my heart that I was sincere about it and I was authentic about it, then I'm happy, Let me just, sorry, I've actually forgot to silence my phone.
Yeah.
We can continue. So yeah, as long as I can feel sincere about it and know that it wasn't just following a trend, then I'm happy about it, because I was fortunate to grow up with a lot of different influences musically. So this is not anything weird for me. I don't know. Have you heard about Amapiano? It's quite a big genre coming out of Africa at the moment, and it's making big waves in the world. So don't know if you've had a chance to listen to some Amapiano.
I don't think so.
Check it out, man. There's some good stuff coming out from this side of the world, and yeah, like it's even there's quite a niche in the UK as well for it and so on. So I tried to do my own spin on Amapiano and combining it with gospel. So it's interesting. Like I say, it's a bit risky, but yeah, I'm excited to get feedback from people, and even if it's not for everyone. Once again, I want to make music that I enjoy making, and yeah, long story. That's the gist of it.
Yeah, I listened to it. What was last night for me, which is today for you, I think.
Yeah.
The 7-hour time difference.
Yeah, man.
It's good. It's a unique sound. It is interesting. I liked it.
Yeah,
have you gotten a lot of feedback on it so far yet?
Not yet. But yeah, hopefully it will trickle through and people will tell me, okay, they either dig it or not. Like I say, it's fine. I think some people might be, I don't want to say shocked, but might be taken aback just a little bit, because once again, it's not something even close to what I've done before. But I do have at least a lot of roots inspiration wise from R&B influences growing up, and also house, African house, but also like EDM stuff and so on. So I have a broad range of things that I pull inspiration from. So it's not that weird that that I'm doing it now for the first time. Maybe people are just hearing this side of me for the first time, but I've always had that, and now I have the opportunity to show a bit more variety.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like Owl City a little bit.
Oh, cool. That's a compliment. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So yeah, you mentioned your faith a little bit. Do you mind telling us a little bit about your faith journey, like what that's like?
Yeah. And you know what? It's weird because at the moment I play open cards with people. The last few weeks have been hectic for me, so I keep it real in terms of just telling people what it is. I don't want to put up a facade and tell people that I'm okay when I'm not. I'll just tell people that me struggling with my own stuff throughout life, there's been a lot of ups and downs, and I'm not now in this moment particularly in the best place of my life. Just yeah, it kind of feels like a bit of a dip again, and I've had a few of those, and then you kind of rise up from that, and you just hopefully build character out of that, and find the lessons out of it. But I grew up as a Christian in a Christian household, but it sometimes it's someone else's faith that's been passed on to you, and it's not your own. And there came a time in my life where I, through after doing quite a few things my own way, messing up, making some bad decisions, actually also just at the start of COVID or thereabout, early 2020, got to a point where I just kind of broke down and realized that I'm a bit of a mess, and that all the things that I tried to fulfill an empty space. I know that's a cliche. I know a lot of people say that, but all of those things didn't really complete me, and wasn't sustaining. It wasn't sustaining. So, but it wasn't just a case of now looking for the next thing that could make me happy. I understood that there was a serious need for, in my case, just understanding life in a more complete way, seeing it through a bigger lens where suffering actually has a purpose, even though I don't like suffering, and most of us don't. And started as that broken person, asking God, asking Jesus to just take me as I am, as that broken person, and just help me get through those things, and not just get through it for my own sake, but also so that I could continue also in my own capacity, try and be a light in other people's lives. So yeah, it took a long time for me to get to a place of stability and learning more about my faith, the gospel of Christ. And that is what changing my mind is also about, just continually renewing my mind on the word of God, and realizing the sacrifice that Christ made for me. And, that was just something that, that gave me that solidity in my life. So, like I say, it's not a switch or flip a switch and then everything is just fine. Life still has struggles, and I get that. And even in this moment now, I need some renewing of my mind again, because I do struggle with anxiety and sometimes depression. So I can say both of those things. Not feeling that I am, a hypocrite because I want to have everything together to show people how great I am, because I know it's not about me. The message is not about me, and I need that grace just as much as anyone else. So it's, please stop me. I can ramble a bit, so just stop me if I need to. Just park it for a minute. But in this moment, like I say, I know I need to learn again, and get some more perspective and move on. And so the timing feels a bit weird to bring out my first gospel song, and not be in the greater space, because I wish I was in a better space to share this beautiful message. But at the same time, like I said, it's not about me. So hopefully God will still do something through this song, and through my testimony.
You mentioned earlier also your blindness. Do you ever think about representation as an artist?
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not too much about group identity or things like that, and standing only for a specific group, because I believe that we all have suffering in our own capacity, and it might have a different form, but most people know some form of hurt and sorrow, and I would rather speak to that. But also in the same breath, I have to say that my heart is just absolutely warmed to the max when I see someone succeeding that has the challenges that I have as well. So someone without arms or someone without eyes, because I mean, there's a lot of different kinds of struggle. But I also have to say, and hopefully this is not victimhood, but some things you can change. Like, even if you end up on street, you can work your way to get back off the street, but you can't work your way out of blindness or out of disability. So that is a thing that you have to live with your whole life, and that you can't choose to have certain days and then other days it's not there. So it's a constant battle, and I've been fully blind for 14 years, and I still have days where it's just I feel like it's too much. But at the same time, I do want to show people that we can continue keeping on, and find victory at the end of those dark tunnels. So for blind people, yes, obviously I want to represent people that have similar struggles and mean something to them. But also I've, especially back in the day with The Voice and so on, there were so many comments from across the world that people just told me, just myself, imperfect me, going on stage and being crazy nervous, that meant something to them, me stepping out of my comfort zone. So you never know what it could mean to someone, even if you feel like that was not your best, foot that you put forward or whatever, or you could have done better, whatever it might be. So I mean, definitely, it's important. And I will say, man, there's I think there's still some strides to be made, because I can't help feeling like sometimes there's still some stigma, where, and I can't say if this is the same in America or right across the world, but I'll still have conversations, and I can almost feel that people think there's something intellectually also wrong because I lack the ability of sight. So those two things, obviously your mental capacity and your ability to see, they aren't correlated or connected at all. So I don't know if it's just a fear of the unknown, or just sometimes people associating different things and putting them into the same bucket. But that's still something that I think I try to, in a gentle way, hopefully just make people conscious about, that listener, if I'm unintelligent, it's because I'm unintelligent, not because I'm blind. There's no correlation there. So if I say something stupid or whatever, that's a separate thing on its own. And some of the smartest people I know are people that have disabilities and have major challenges. So yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought about that. People connect the two different things for some reason. That's strange. And you're very well spoken and intelligent, clear. Like you said, this is your second language, but you can't really even tell.
Thanks, man. I try. I have better days. I have worse days. But yeah, okay, maybe it is subjective. Once again, I try very hard not to fall into a space of victimhood and saying poor me or poor that guy, because I don't think that helps at all. That's not going to change the situation. So I try to do as much as I can on my own to to kind of do as much as I can, and then I at least have peace that, okay, I did my part. So
yeah, it didn't even initially register to me that you were blind because you had the sunglasses on and you just looked cool. I'm like, I think I first saw you on social media and I was like, oh, like, and eventually I looked up your name after I saw enough videos and stuff, and I was like, oh, and it only then registered to me after I saw you on The Voice and like they talked about it a little bit, but other than that, I would have never even thought about it.
Cool, man.
But yeah, who are some of your favorite singers and some of your favorite songs?
Yeah, I'm a huge Ed Sheeran fan. Have been from the start. Like, I think the first song I ever thought about singing and that inspired me to start singing was 18 by Ed Sheeran. Just because I saw a different side of music, the way he could paint a picture with words and really, show you visually almost in your mind what he's trying to say. So that was a song that really got me into like, okay, maybe hopefully I can also do this, where I'm able to tell such a vivid story through lyrics. But I mean, there's been so many. Like I really enjoyed 80s music as well. Toto and Queen, of course, great musicians. Then I even a bit earlier on I enjoyed Dire Straits. But then also I grew up with like Usher and Mario. I grew up with Chris Brown, Justin Timberlake. So there's been so many different influences, and obviously some great female vocalists that I will never even attempt to cover. But just listening to someone like Celine Dion or Whitney Houston, those were just for the pure enjoyment of music. That gave me so much appreciation for also doing it now,
Yeah, that's funny you said Celine Dion. As soon as you said like female artist, I would never think to cover like that was the first name that popped into my head.
That's a unicorn. Oh man.
So yeah, let's talk about your experience on The Voice. How did you end up on the show in the first place?
Yeah, so I mean, I only started singing by accident at the end of my matric year. Myself and one of my friends, we were the masters of ceremony for our school's talent competition, and we thought, okay, let's just do something to kind of encourage the school spirit for that event. Didn't think anything about it. People heard me for the first time and said, hey, you should really take this seriously. So after school, I did take a break year to really pursue music. I started doing little gigs, small gigs, and getting myself out there, this birthday party, this dog show, this old age home, which are all great. But obviously just stepping stones in terms of getting familiar with the industry and getting more comfortable with being in front of people, because I'm naturally more an introvert. And so that led to myself doing more and more shows. And people always told me, why don't you do this show or this show? Obviously, there's a few others, the talent shows. And I just said no, because it didn't really appeal to me. And I just felt, and then when the Voice came along, it's like this concept where they don't have any preconceived ideas. They hear you, and if you're good enough, then they're going to turn around. So I thought, okay, let me give this a shot. I wasn't particularly prepared, I would say, in terms of being ready for that, magnitude of a show. But I just told myself, throw yourself into the deep end and see if you're able to swim, and let's see how it goes. And yeah, so when it got there, I said to myself, this is a great platform. I was crazy nervous, and people sometimes say, oh, that his voice was so shaky and all of that for the blind edition. But I mean, of course it was something so unusual for me, and you don't have that kind of pressure just in any normal situation. But I'm still glad that I did it, and somehow, even despite the nerves, it turned out just amazing. Once again, it was more than just something that was for me. It really went, it spread out wide across the world and meant something to a lot of people. So I'm so grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, you got 4 chairs to turn, so I don't think it mattered that you were nervous.
Yeah, it was crazy. First of all, I was just trying to speak properly. My mouth was so dry after singing and shaking my butt off. The on stage, I was just like, okay, I'm gonna try to just get a few words out that make sense. But then obviously when they gave all the good feedback, it was really encouraging. And obviously the one coach made quite a good pitch, and it just kind of pulled me into his direction. Just the passion that he showed, but all of them really gave amazing feedback. So it was still a toss up in the moment where I could have gone with any of those who turned.
Yeah, Bobby had a very very big reaction.
Yeah.
Do you still keep up with Bobby yet, or not?
No, not really. I mean, he's got his own career, and no, we haven't spoken in quite a while. So it's funny that we haven't ran into each other somewhere, because South Africa is not that big. But no, we haven't spoken in quite a while.
What are some of the moments that you think of when you think of The Voice, your experience there, like best moments, funniest moments, behind the scenes, on stage, whatever that pops into your mind?
There was a crazy one. I think it was the third performance, right? I actually bit the inside of my cheek while singing, and I got such a shock, because it was a good chunk, I took a good chunk out of the inside of my cheek here, and got such a shock. But I had to obviously keep on singing, because you're on stage now. There's no do-overs. So that was, afterwards, it was a bit funnier, but in the moment I was just like, I just freaking bit myself. I don't know how I got to do that, but got a good inner mouth wound. And that doesn't happen every day. So I mean, that was quite strange. Otherwise, funny moments. Yeah, we just had fun. Kind of everyone there doing like mock interviews and stuff with each other, and impersonating, some famous people and stuff like that. So that was pretty fun.
What were you surprised about by the experience? Something that you didn't expect?
Just how you learn so quickly to actually be ready for the stage, and the big world, I guess, because once again, I didn't have anything to compare that to, and but you kind of have to just forget about what all of your doubts are and just do it. So it kind of taught me a lot about being professional, and taking it very seriously every time, even though like, for instance, I know that I've already been paid for a gig, so now I'm not just going to say, okay, I don't care about my performance. But no, I obviously want to do the best I can, always want to represent myself to the max, the best of my abilities. And just in terms of for myself, it taught me a lot about being ready for the moment, being professional, composing yourself, even if you don't feel that great backstage, to once you go on stage to just be ready for that moment and be professional. Yeah.
What's been the most rewarding experience in your music career since The Voice?
There's been good moments, really. There's been nice moments to reflect on, really special, memorable moments. So I got to sing the national anthem at a big sporting event, and there were like 55,000 people there. And so that was really an incredible experience to just experience everyone singing our national anthem together, and just feel that vibe. It's mind blowing, and it was so special. So that is the first one that comes to mind. So yeah, that was at a Springbok rugby game. I don't know how many watching knows rugby, but it's similar to American football. So I guess that's the closest resembling thing that can be related to that. Compared to that. But anyway, so I was at that event. Then I also got a chance to tour Hong Kong in 2017. So I was invited over to go and perform in Hong Kong, and got to perform at schools and at some big public spaces there. And that was great. Once again, got to experience their culture and eat their food. I love all kinds of Asian food, so that was great. So that was great as well. And then obviously, I think one that I can't understate is when someone tells me, "Listen, I'm going through a tough time, but one of your songs meant something to me and gave me strength for another day." So I mean, those are smaller just in degree, but it's not less important, because I know a lot of people just like myself, we go through stuff, and it's just amazing to have some sort of soothing effect, or even a temporary helping effect in someone's life. So yeah, that's great.
So yeah, you have your single coming out. I was gonna ask if you have other your next song in mind.
Absolutely, yeah. So hopefully mid-December, there's another one coming out as well, and that's also going to be entirely different to this one that I'm releasing, or that I've released now. It's more on the EDM side of things, just more anthemic. I almost want to say festival vibes. So yeah, some people will say I'm all over the place, but once again, if a song feels good, I want to make it, and whatever resonates with me, that's what I want to put out there. So maybe sometime through the process, I'll refine my sound more and go, to a more specific sound. But at least for now, I'm just going to try and put out stuff that I think I'll enjoy listening to, and that whoever wants to listen to it, then they're welcome to do it as well. So yeah, there's one, it's called Summertime, because in our part of the world, it's now actually summertime. So might be appropriate for that season,
I have a series of questions for you. They're from a TV show in America. It's called Inside the Actor's Studio with James Lipton. They don't do it anymore. He died, but he did it with basically all the biggest celebrities you can think of, like Robin Williams, all the big actors and stuff. It's just kind of a series of 10 random questions. But first is, what is your favorite word?
Oh, I haven't thought about that.
Yeah, these are totally random. And
I know. Let me get on one. It's not moist. I just thought about How I Met Your Mother, and that's like I remember that episode where they like did that moist word the whole time, and that's like an interesting word, but that's not my favorite. But I think chicken. Yeah, let's go with chicken. There's probably a better one, but I mean, I think chicken just works for so many different things. I love eating chicken in various forms. So yeah, it works. We'll have to go with that.
Okay.
I might circle back to that one, but for now it's chicken.
What is your least favorite word?
Moist.
That's
a weird
funny.
word.
I was thinking when you said that, I was like, that might be the next.
Yeah.
Okay. What turns you on creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Yeah, my senses, sounds. Sounds are a big one. There's so many different sounds that tell you so much more than just words do. So if I hear a beautiful synthy, ambient pad sound, that will inspire me or just help me relax, or whatever the mood is that I'm going for, or sound can energize you. So I would say that obviously for myself, even more, that's a big one and the biggest one because I depend on it so much. But yeah, just you said what inspires me, right?
Yeah, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Yeah. So sound, um, um, yeah, just in terms of creatively, and then emotionally also just people's stories. Like I enjoy watching, uplifting stories about people who overcome, crazy things in their lives, and even people going on AGT and whatever, or just seeing something on Facebook or wherever where someone overcame something crazy in their life. And then spiritually, obviously, I depend on the Word of God, on the Bible. Um, just I've received so much encouragement out of the Word of God, and even though, once again, sometimes I feel disconnected from it, it does bring hope and encouragement, and realigns me when I'm drifting off. So yeah.
Yeah. What turns you off in those ways, creatively, spiritually, emotionally?
Um, I I don't know if it's just me, or all men, but I I don't I'm not able to multitask. So I can only focus on one thing at a time, it seems. So I really get zoomed into something. So when there's a lot of conflicting things going on around me, I get kind of anxious. Like, let's say there's 4 or 5 different sound sources, devices around me, and it's just a bunch of things overlapping each other. That's a turn off, definitely, because it divides my focus and distracts me. So that's the biggest one. Um, but yeah, I mean, there's obviously a few others, I guess, but that's the biggest one.
Yeah. You don't have to answer this one if you don't want to, but he asks, what is your favorite curse word?
Yeah, no, I'm probably not going to say.
Next one
well,
is...
we have a few interesting ones in Afrikaans, so maybe I can say Afrikaans one. Kak. It's yeah, it's Afrikaans. It's Afrikaans for shit. So yeah. So if someone says I'm having a kak day, then they're having a shitty day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love? So that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, because you mentioned sounds and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, what sound or noise do you love?
Oh man, I love nature sounds. So just birds, waterfalls, rivers, that kind of thing. It has a very soothing effect. Just the rattling of leaves in the wind. Those are, in the natural sense, that's very, very soothing. But also, like I said, just in terms of sound, just a big orchestral, symphony, with a lot of things that just complement each other so beautifully, and almost just being in the middle of that and having surround sound, because in that case it is actually something that's working together and not against each other, like I previously said, with things that distract me. and like I said, also like just a beautiful pad sound, just something that's nice and ambient, relaxing. And also even sometimes I don't listen to it as much, but I should maybe do it more. Just like some classical music, some flute music is also very good in terms of just when you want to be in a relaxing space. So yeah, all of that good stuff.
Yeah. What sound or noise do you hate?
Screeching sounds, just harsh sounds. The sound of a constantly barking dog. Um, that sound of chalk on a chalkboard. That is maybe the worst one of all. Or like
Yeah.
nails on a chalkboard. I just, oh man, that just thinking about it makes me cringe. That's a crazy one for me personally. I don't know if you feel the same about that one, but it's just that sound, that screeching sound. It's like it's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, things like that, like uncomfortable sounds.
Yeah.
For me, at least.
Uh, what profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I can't say pilot, right? Yeah, no, we're not there yet. Okay. So I guess, I mean, yeah, some motivational speaking. I have done that in the past, but yeah, I mean, if I wasn't a singer, I would probably be in some form of teaching, not necessarily like the education system, but teaching life skills. Just because I love seeing people succeed and having a part in that. So I would probably have some sort of um, work in that line, or something that's like I love, just thinking of new creative ideas that maybe hasn't seen the light of day yet, and be try and be inventive and stuff like that. So I mean, obviously that's I would only know if that was the situation, but I think I would still be a creative person and do something in a creative line of work.
Yeah. What is a profession you would not like to do?
Uh,
Maybe pilot, I guess, since you mentioned
yeah,
that
yeah,
one.
yeah. I was about to say, maybe if I enjoy life and everyone who would travel on a plane enjoys life, that's yeah, I would leave that one. I would leave that one out. But yeah, I mean, I'm not thrilled with admin type things, So um, yeah, like things that require a lot of paperwork. So anything in that sphere of work. Obviously, I still need to do some of it, and I do some of it, but it's I do it as effectively and briefly as I have to. But yeah, stuff like that. Because I just think once again, it's not the way I'm wired. Um, it doesn't stimulate me, but obviously I would still try to be as developed in all areas of life and of profession as I can be. But yeah, something like that. So some sort of desk work, or like working with numbers the whole time, accounting, or studying a bunch of books for law intensive purposes. Um, I have respect for those jobs, but I don't know if just the time it takes to sit with the materials would be for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and then the last question on the survey: if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Mm. Well done, good and faithful servant. I mean, I know that's a cliche as well, but I would love, just despite everything, to know that despite all of my many sins and my many faults, that I um, that my life was pleasing to God. And just to expand on that a little bit, I believe in Christ's sacrifice on the cross for me. So I don't think that I can work my way into heaven, or I can do enough good to qualify to make heaven. Obviously, responding to what Jesus Christ did for me, I want to live a good life and a life that honors God. But I know also that, it's not my good outweighing my bad. And when I mess up, it's myself disqualifying myself. So I believe in what he did for me. And I have to be reminded of that when I feel like I messed up, and just know that he's there with grace and forgiveness and mercy. And I even need to be reminded of that in this specific time that I find myself now.
Yeah. And so I have up your Instagram. It's Vernon Barnard. Pretty easy to remember.
Yeah.
And also throughout, I had up your single out today, "Changing My Mind" on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer Library, and like we said, pretty much wherever.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we asked you before we started about singing a song if you'd like to.
Taking it slowly. I'm afraid to be lonely. Nobody told me it's gonna leave you in pieces, all alone with your demons. And I know that we need this, but I've been too afraid to follow through. Hold me close and I won't leave, 'cause it hurts when you hurt somebody. There's so much to say, but I don't speak. And I hate that I let you stop me, 'cause it hurts when you hurt somebody. 'Cause it hurts when you hurt somebody.
Wow, that was good. Yeah, that was great. Thank you.